previous topic, but we need to focus on this one right now. So, as we know, the world is leading into towards the fourth industrial revolution. That's what they call it, the Industry 4.0. But we know a lot of women are still far left behind. And for that, we need to make sure that we open up a platform for the members of our organization. It doesn't have to be young members all the time. It can be members of all the generations. So they can learn what this, what it is what is new in the market. So for that, I know there have been a lot of projects for digital literacy going on. I have met, a lot of members who are very, uh, aware of the new technology, but there are so many members who are not aware of it. And to come up with more ideas, I think we can bring more members in so that they can be a part, they can feel they can be a part of it. I think there are a few online trainings, but we need to come up with more online trainings, and it has to come from the young BPW members. Uh, because with the young ones, they know what's in the market, and because they are fighting for it, and then they know how to share the knowledge. And then also the online clubs, if you know the virtual clubs, we have very few virtual clubs in BPW, where it's a club about the members who can't be present in person at certain places. So we can be I mean talk about it in different part of the world. I think having different online clubs can bring a lot of members in as well. And we see that we need to work on online seminars, forums, and conferences. What I've seen is, though we are in all around the world, we have different languages, and also the factor that it's separating certain continents from another one is because of the technology as well. Some are far way ahead and some are far way behind, and this is the reason why I need to come up with online seminars, forums, that people who can't travel, you know, can be on the seminar and benefit out of the BPW platform. And also we need to encourage the online meeting of this, existing, the thing is that uh, I- with the clubs nowadays is I see a lot of young ones, they have hard time attending the meetings in the clubs because they are very early in their career, and then it's very hard to get leave, and that is the reason they are missing out on a lot of things. And to have online meeting of the clubs, I think it can make the members a part of it, even though they are not there in person. So we need to explore the different uses of technologies. I think there was a time the Skype was something that everybody was using. Now we see everyone using Zoom. So there is always new technology that can bring more people, uh, you know, come together to a same platform, and also to improve immediacy, because we need to work on it very fast, because we can't wait for another generation. And it has been like I remember when I was in 2000 BPW member in 2013, and at that moment I was hoping how could I learn about BPW, and there was no online thing that I could learn from, no conferences, no nothing. I actually have to go all the way to Cyprus to understand what BPW is all about. So this is not something that everyone can do. It's not everyone can travel to another country to the conferences and understand how BPW is working, and what BPW stands for. So this is something we need to work on it in every club, and this is I think a few clubs have been doing it. I mean, the few countries, they are really giving it because they really want, to see, the difference. As we heard from Otoha, that she's trying her best for, executive in a country to make the executive board a little, aware of the new technologies as well. And the most important one is to form a young advisory committee, because we have a lot of clubs, and then we see 1 or 2% in the executive board, young members. That is really few. And then it's whenever there is certain training, a certain platform, the young ones, they go there as a guest. They never feel a part of the event. But having a young advisory committee, it becomes a lot easier, because this young advisory committee can work to bring more members feel a part of the club. So I think these are some of the things we need to focus in order to be up to date with the current technology that we all you know are working towards. And with Shara, say, living in Singapore, and me living in Nepal, If I want to have a online meeting, and they say, okay, let's meet up for a coffee instead. So this is the difference in different part of the world, because they feel more connected when they meet in person. But we need to make it to go out in a global platform. I think digital technology and everything related to this topics that I have discussed here, I think we need to implement it as well. And I don't know what is going on in your part of the world, but and I would like to open this floor now, so that I love to hear what's happening around the world. The floor is yours, ladies.
So first thing, so like we kind of talked about like the online clubs, Nerima just kindly explained about a lot of things. And so in regards to like making something the online meetings like more accessible, and then not to get the like people who are not familiar to these terms to get too scared about, is so this is something I do with some of my friends in other countries, is that we do online drink sessions. So basically, people who are in different countries, we just log in at the same time, and we're drinking or we're having coffee. And then so it kind of started off that like that. And then actually with the coronavirus situation right now, a lot of people are doing that. And then actually in my workplace, myself and my teammate, we decided to organize online events, because we can't actually have people gathering in one place and then have a proper event. So we were like online happy hour. So obviously it's not really happy hour because we're not providing any drinks and people buying their own drinks. But so that was actually quite successful. And then the people who never used Zoom and all these online meeting platforms, they were like, oh, quite like nervous about it, saying, oh, I don't want to join that kind of online meeting. It should be in person always. Those people found it quite like a good opportunity to actually get used to it, and then they joined. So I guess with BPW, I'm not sure about the online happy hour is a good idea, but could be an online, I don't know, afternoon coffee session or something. So that might be something really easy for people to join to start with. And then yeah, and with BPW Japan, I've been trying, and one of the things I was trying to explain to people is the BPW UK has been working online a lot for the last few years. So I had the opportunity to kind of join them for about 2 years. So last 2 years of when I was living in UK, and they do most of their meetings online. So some of them who live very very close to each other, for example in Bristol, they have a club in Bristol. So they do meet up in someone's house. In the living room on weekends, and they have meetings. But most of the time they just do online. And you know 80 or 90-year-old, just because they are in their 80s or 90s doesn't mean they can't click. They can send emails, no problem. And so we were like, well, if you can send emails, then all you have to do is click the link that we sent, and then that's it. And if they need someone to set up the Zoom app in advance, then we can always go to their house in advance, set it up for them, and then that's all they have to do. And so that's something like we can definitely do. Like we can tell them, like, you don't, just because you have to use digital technology doesn't mean they have to understand everything. We can always set up everything for them, to the point that all they have to do is just click, one click. So that's, I think there's a different way to kind of communicate to them, that like online is not the only way for them to like that they have to learn, and that's the only way we're going to communicate going forward. I think that's the kind of image they tend to have, that they very scared that that's the only way they can meet. I think we have to kind of like focus on the fact that this is just one of the many platforms. It's the same as giving phone calls to somebody. It just happens to be on your laptop and with the webcam on, if you're happy with the webcam. So I think it's probably going to test our communication skills too, which is very exciting actually. If people don't like it, then obviously, like, maybe we could have done a better job. And yeah, young advisory committee, definitely. It's kind of related to leadership in a way. Is how I felt in BPW Japan a lot, is that when I'm the young BPW representative, and almost the only young BPW member who's active in Japan, even till now, is that like, yes, I am representing BPW, and yes, this is a great opportunity for me to actually be a part of the executive board. At the same time, like I feel like I don't have anyone on my side. Like I'm there on my own is the way I feel. And then I always have a lot of respect for, Nerima's, of course, you right now, is anyone on the international board, executive board, that you might feel that even more than I do in Japan, because you're representing all the young BPW around the world, no pressure. And, so, in order for people not to feel that way is that, like, I don't know, like maybe young BPW is there, but then, like you should always feel like you have the team. You just happen to be there, you know, to represent everybody. And, knowing that and being there, but then knowing that, but then still feel like you're on your own is a huge difference, I think. So I completely agree with the young advisory committee. And then, yeah, communication, I'm gonna keep testing in Japan. And then obviously if there's any really nice way that I managed, I think we'd like to share. We should share. And then different regions got different nice way to communicate with people. But if we keep sharing, I think we can reach something really, really nice.
Yeah, totally agree. I mean, when it comes to, these online tools, often what I heard when I started my, job as a young representative was, oh, you have WhatsApp, right? If you want to connect with anyone, any of the youngs that you met before in a symposium, for example, Benedetta, right? Why don't you just connect with her on WhatsApp? I can do that, of course. But it's a difference of having the tools or whether to have it institutionalized within our organization and to make it something that we can also strive for in terms of a standard that sets new standards also. So I think institutionalizing an advisory committee with a specific mandate will create more awareness, will create more empowerment, and also upskill our skill sets in general. And I think it's not only about making online possible. I think that's the first step. So I think, kudos to you, Otoha, that you kind of prepared this in the UK and it worked. I think that's brilliant. But it's also to take it a step further, right? To the extent I'm not only thinking about making it online or making use of digital tools, it's about education as well. It's about educating what does it really mean? What does cybersecurity mean? What does blockchain mean? What does everything else mean that comes our way? 5 to 10 years from now, maybe smart cities will be normal. So also having kind of the forecast view and the macro trend view, being a young, right? We have so many years ahead of us to also share that with all the generations within BPW. I think it's important. So not only taking it online, but creating content that is making us as an organization, especially a non-profit organization, more digital savvy.
Okay. My suggestion is there is a system to all this, to the online, creating an online platform and system. There's a system that drives it. This is what my company does, and we've done for so many clients. So I suggest that we have an integrated online marketing funnel for membership drive. I feel it's an effective way to attract members. If, as BPW, one of our major sources of income is in our dues, then I think that we should focus on investing in attracting and acquiring more ideal members. Thank you guys for the suggestion. I think that they're awesome. I also suggest that we have like some sort of central point for our membership strategy to create like a predictable number across board. I mean, not just maybe not just each clubs and each federation, across board. I think that it will be more effective. Let me give you an example. When we were doing the inauguration for Young BPW, my company sort of sponsored the media and the media marketing for having people come to the event, because in Lagos, Lekki specifically, young people haven't heard of BPW. It was only the older people, so nobody knew anything about BPW. They didn't even know where to go and inquire. They only saw the website, and when they went to the website, they were like, okay, but they don't understand. They're okay, it's a big thing, and we know, but we don't have enough details to be able to register and start to pay dues and all the things. What are our responsibilities? What are we supposed to do? So we created some sort of marketing strategy, online marketing strategy. And when we were able to, the result of that was amazing. With the fact that even my company, we didn't put a lot of, we had some funds that we supported with, but obviously wasn't enough. But we were able to achieve a great number. We had an audience of 10,000. What I mean by audience is people who saw the advert, the contents that we created specifically for people to attend the event. So we had over like 10,000 views, 10,000 people viewed it. We had prospects of 1,000. And finally, we had people that were genuinely interested and really wanted to know more about it, drop their emails, and they were looking forward to having more information for them to commit. And we had about like 200 thereabout. We had up to 100 people in attendance for that event that nobody knew about. Yeah, nobody knew what BPW was about, but they were there out of curiosity, out of the fact that there was so much interesting content that were created to evoke some sort of curiosity and excitement for the event. So finally, after the event, we were able to sign up the members that we have now. So the members that we have now are majorly like 90% from that one event, the inauguration, the Young BPW Lekki inauguration. So I believe that with this proof that online marketing does work, online across board does work for membership drive. I believe that if we stopped right there. We didn't go further because we weren't able to convince our BPW elders that online is the future, and because they believe in their ways. And I think that, if the elders can be a little bit more flexible in the new innovations that is happening now, it will make a lot of sense, especially the fact that this is one of our sources of income as BPW. And I think that it should be invested in. So what did we do with the 10,000 views and prospect of 1,000 and leads of up to 200? We couldn't do much. We can only send emails to the people that we have emails to, but they are there. We could have done much more follow-ups. We could have done much more. We could have achieved much more members if there was consistency. But the good thing about this is that we have a lifetime value of members. We were able to deduce that. But in the consistency of our implementation of the marketing strategy, I think that we will be flying high. And some of the marketing, I like what you said, Ottawa and you said about WhatsApp and Zoom and all of that. They are tools. They are apps and softwares that you engage, but that's not the overall view. There's a whole system to it, and it's better to deal with the issue from the point of view of a system, building a whole system that everything runs through, than one aspect or the other, because other aspects will be left out. Thank you.
Thank you. And I think that digital technology is really it's really important for a federation like ours. Of course, for instance, I met Shira years ago, and I can talk with her via WhatsApp or via email, and she's in the opposite part of the world. And this is great because digital technology let us to create a real relationship within all the members. And also BPWK and Ottawa told us their best practice is really impressive. Also because there aren't many young members, but every 2 weeks they meet via Skype and discuss about their initiatives. And nowadays also BPW Italy is improving this kind of online meetings. And I think in any case, online meetings, online seminars are really useful, and they will increase for sure. And of course, having the opportunity to participate in person to online training, it's better, of course, because you can meet in person people. But sometimes we cannot go and live to another country, or we cannot ask too many days off from the office, in particular for us young members. And having the possibility to follow an online training and to learn about BPW activities is really important, being at home, and you can access and you can use technology and follow this training sitting on your sofa. So BPW is an international organization, and with technology we can cut distances, and as we are doing right now, and using technology we can be really united without barriers. I really want to bring you to your attention an example of BPW, of young BPW Estonia. 2 young BPW members, they started a business about e-residency. They support the e-residents of Estonia to establish their global company quickly and convenient. They have partners all over the world, and with using technology, they started their own business, and they are young BPW members. So they use technology to create their business. So
thank you so much, ladies, for your comments, inputs, and great examples. And now I'd like to go to another topic. Okay. So we have few topics here. The major one is about UN engagement. We know that BPW has a consultative status with United Nations. So whatever we are doing for the empowerment of women or any other in topics, we get to give our inputs to the United Nations. So we need to understand that the young members need to understand that how your action can be be a part of this global change that's going on inside the United Nations. And also that the there are many UN programs. I was fortunate that I was able to attend the major events in the year 2018. I was there for the high level political forum where they give training about SDG to ministers and the parliamentarians, and also international human rights forum that was for the youth of all over the world, and also youth assembly that takes place every two times every year. And it takes place around United Nations, inside United Nations as well, where they bring amazing, young members from around the world, and the speakers are, they're inspirational. That's where I got my inspiration the first time when I went to UN Youth Assembly in the year 2016. So we need to understand that how we can engage our members to attend the major, UN events. So you just don't go there to give input, you go there and learn so you can come back and implement and share the knowledge that you have. And, BPW has a lot of partners. If you know that BPW is not only associated with United Nations, we have like the Global Compact in ITC, International Trade Center. They are our partner, and we have a lot of other, like a lot of UN agencies like UNESCO, and even with ILO we have the networking. And I know that there are so many senior members who communicate, and participate in those events, because that's how they get the ideas back to BPW, and that is how we need to send, more members to engage in other organizations events, so that we can come and learn and implement as well. And besides that, there, if you go to our website, you'll see a lot of other our partner organizations and networks, from where you can, find out how you can give input to different or different topics. For example, like World Water Forum, we have a lot of members who are part of it, BPW members. And I personally know a young girl from Nepal who was one of the speakers during the World Water Forum that happened in Brazil. And that's how you get all the networking done within BPW, and the engagement with the UN. And also, we need to, the next topic is about programming. The thing is that we need to understand one thing about BPW. It's not a service-oriented organization or a charity organization. It is about advocacy. So we need to make sure that when we make programs about different topics, we need to focus on advocacy. It doesn't have to be only about women's rights or rights of human rights. It can be about everything. It has to give knowledge to another, the one who are receiving it. So we have to find a relevant topic for the overall, development of, and for the sustainability of BPW. For example, we have a young lady in Nepal who is a lawyer who wants to speak about the rights, the basic rights of basic human rights. And she started a project and then started going to the villages instead of being in the city, because that's where the people need to understand what is the basic right of the human, what the government has for, for their rights, and they need to understand how they need to implement it. I think this kind of advocacy kind of program is very important, and even while making programs, we need to focus on that. And we have a lot of projects, like I remember Alice from Italy. She has this program called Women to be on the board. It's like empowering young girls to fight to be the CEO, not just be working for the CEO. So, the initiative like this, it doesn't have to be a big project, full funded project. We are getting paid, but still, from your free time in your workplace, you can promote this initiatives, like the equal pay that is celebrated by most of the countries. They do it in a very volunteering way. So this is something we can learn. And also about communication, one thing I've realized is we have our website, we have our Facebook, Twitter, but we tend to miss out that we don't have a blog. If having a blog would make a lot of difference. It doesn't even have to be a BPW International blog itself, but it can be in different clubs and countries, so that we can understand what's exactly is BPW from the executive point of view. And also we have a UN representative in different UN agencies, from where we can learn what's happening there, because we see a few write-ups and then that's it, and we don't understand what exactly is happening because whatever conference that takes place and wherever our UN representatives they go to attend, they just don't go to bring back the report. It will be more effective if we can understand what exactly happened there, so that we can understand the entire scenario. And for that, young members need to even come forward and say, I want to go. I remember that in 2018 there were so many events that I didn't know it was happening because nobody in BPW informed me. But the fact that one of my friends was working inside the UN, he told me this are the events. If you want to come, then get the pass from your organization. And that's when I reached out to my organization, BPW, and said, I need passes for this, this, and this organization. And ever since that, I remember that I've been telling all the members to attend different events, whether it's in the UN or outside, so that you can go and learn. So this even for communication, I think having all the aspects of BPW, like the executive, the standing committee chairs. A lot of people don't know what is standing committee chairs, and the task force chairs. We don't know what they are doing because they are not visible in the whole media. And that's why we need to bring the international press, not just international president, the executive and affiliate presidents, and also the members who have achieved a hype, a certain level, and then also the projects that's been carried out. We have a website where you can see the projects that's been carried out, but to having a blog just to showcase whatever it's happening, I think it can help a lot for the members to understand where they belong. And the last one is business. We know that we have a lot of business women in our organization, and the networking is still missing. So when we talk about B2B, business to business, it's about having a financial profit from the other business women. I know that there are like few women with few clubs who are doing training regarding certain business that they have in a country. But to have more, BPW members involved, especially the young members, because they come up with a new, let's say they come up with a new design, or like a bag. Let's say we have now the latest one is from Thailand. I think she came up with a very fine purse, and it is made out of raw silk. That's made very very traditional of their country. But how does she go to other country? Then that's when if somebody wants to do a business with her, that's why we need to do a networking. And I think that is when this young members come forward and say, okay, I need networking, I need support with this one. And that's when I think all the young members, all the business members will get a bigger platform within BPW itself. When we talk about professional development and women empowerment, I think it is only possible when we are financially strong. And for that, we need to make a platform for members to actually know each other and do the networking itself. So these are some of the topics that we have today, and I would like to hear from you members what you have to say about these topics. Yeah.
Thank you, Lenima. This is very serious. This topic is specific, particularly to me. It is very dear to me because I remember the first time I went to the UN, and I didn't know my way around. I remember you took me around, and you were able to show me, oh, this is where you, because I couldn't get a pass. I didn't know anything about anything. And you're able to show me, oh, this is where you get your day pass. This is who you can meet, and this is, and that to me, it made my all visit. It made it make sense, And you can imagine that there are members as well that don't know nothing. They're just taking a leap of faith. Let me see what is going on here. Let me see, just like I did. Like you did as well, that you went to another country to know about BPW and what is about. There are so many interested young people that also want to do the same, but they didn't have people like you, Nelima, to show them around. So they just came and left. So that is why I can't overemphasize the power of media, the power of content, the power of content marketing, the power of what we can do you can imagine if someone like you, for instance, we have a content around what to do when you get to the UN, how to go about it in your club, how to get your passes, how to do this. It will be easier for young people to find their way around. Not everybody is social. Not everybody is outgoing. Not everybody would ask questions. But if they have a portal, a place where they can go to get informations like this, it will make a lot of sense. And their investment in improving themselves, in exposing themselves to a different environment or a different world there will be a return of investment on their part. So with the UN engagement, I think that we should make it into a content. These are contents that we'll use to also attract members. This is what goes on in the UN. This is how we are connected to the UN. This is what you do when you get to the UN. This is how you network and all of that. It really helps. You said about programming. I want to talk about that. The programs that we do and the events that we do. I think that's what it means. The events that we do. The events that we do are also a way, or one of the sources of BPW's revenue. And I feel I absolutely believe that there's a lot that can still be done. I mean, a lot has already been done. A lot of great work has already been done. I mean, the foundation has been done, but there's still a lot more that we can do to have more successful events, more relevant events to the young members, especially, because sometimes we go to these events and we don't really gain much. We just go, because there's no way we are not connected. We're not connecting to the events. Either it's so broad and we are trying to navigate our ways around understanding what is actually going on in this event, or we don't even know where to start. So here's my suggestion to that. I think that we should curate our events more. I mean, they're beautiful events, they're amazing, but we all know that award ceremonies are boring. But the highlights are the performance and the side events. So let's make our events appealing. Let's make it appealing to potential sponsors, partners, members. Let's curate our, let's do live streaming, something that everybody, even if you're not at the event, you are still a part of that event. You are still a part of what's going on. You still understand what's going on. I have a central online TV, properly done, because we are a prestigious organization. I believe that we should portray that in all our media products, all our media content. It should be well done. And this can help to improve our online followings and engagement, members' engagement, members' retention. It will be such an amazing thing to do, to synchronize our social media across board in a way that we can actually be so active that, because when we have all this, that interesting to the young people, there is no way, there's absolutely no way they would engage. You talked about communication, and that's that's a big one for me. It's something I'm really apologies. I think my internet. Online PR. I think that it's very important for BPW. We are absolutely amazing offline. We've done so well. We've done greatly well on offline, but we have to do a lot online. I mean, when you Google BPW, a lot of people complain that they can't really see they can't really see much apart from what is written on the website on Google search, and it's important for us to have people prestigious online platforms talking about us I mean in a good way. It's an age where most traditional platform net market most traditional media platforms are now offline. So if we have a central point, like I said earlier, we're able to do a cross board strategy that will be all inclusive of all of this. I also want to talk about the business aspect of BPW and its members. We have great minds in BPW. We have experienced professionals in BPW, people who have great products to sell. Why can't we somehow, with this, with our members portal, be able to, you know, push more BPW work, push more BPW expertise, services, products, and also BPW products too. We have digital products that we can also leverage on. Our events tickets and everything, we could do a lot of marketing with that. Young people can get job opportunities from this online portal, because there are platforms where everybody is synced, so information is seamless, is passed seamlessly, and we need to get more interesting news, about BPW online. We have a lot of them. We have great projects that we're doing, but you can't find it online. Young BPWs that are just young BPW clubs that are just opening, and they need some experience in, maybe how to set up a project, how to set up a successful project, and people who have done it before. There is no track record online to say, okay, this is what this person did, and in a way that is not just formal. I mean, it's a discussion, like you said, about the intergenerational dialogue, where people have done great stuff before, and they're sort of mentoring young people to also have successful projects. So these are the things that I think that, with the communication, we can attract sponsorship and partnership, and young people that have projects, the young BPW clubs that have projects that needs support we can leverage on an across-board sponsorship and partnering, where we are marketing, we are projecting our projects, online. We are projecting our projects so much that people want to support, people want to partner with us to move our project forward. Thank you very much.
Okay, so I'm gonna be I'm gonna be very quick because I think we've been on this online for quite a while now. So first of all, thank you, Tommy, for the like sharing all the information. You know, and then I think it was really really great to hear about the how the event was really successful for you in the previous session topic, and then how you were engaging with a lot of these other parts, which is really good. So like most of the things I have said, commented in the past, so I'm just gonna be very quick with each topic. So UN engagement, yeah, no, I completely agree. We have a lot of things. It's CSW is not everything, which is something we've been at the second Young BPW A Pacific Symposium, which we just had recently. So I think there are a lot of information, but maybe there's too much information in regards to UN related events. So I think for the Young BPW, maybe that's something we can look into in the future, is that what young BPW people might be especially interested in. Maybe we can try to like sort out the information for the events. So obviously we definitely need a team for that, because not young BPW international person cannot do that on her own, that's for sure, right? And then programming, yes. Yeah, so I think actually I think Tommy already commented a lot on that, so that's all right. Communication, blog, I think this is a really really good idea, because whatever we post on like whatever we tweet or post on Facebook, it tends to go to the bottom of the page and you cannot find the relevant things easily. But blog is actually like a lot of people tend to think like Facebook and Twitter and then Instagram is the thing these days. So people think that's more appealing to young people. But when you think about it, even when you're traveling to other country, you read somebody's blog, you see the Instagrams get the pictures and the like inspiration. You read the blog for the information. So I completely agree with the blog idea. So let's do this. And then actually in terms of like blog and also like business or connecting people's business thing, so just like the online drinking session I introduced earlier, there's something I've been trying with my teammate at WeWork Japan at the moment, because of this whole remote situation, but then also because we two of us been trying to connect a lot of the business all over Japan to start with a lot of the startups. So I'll try that first, and then share the details of what worked and what didn't work afterwards. But generally speaking, it's basically getting information like a database, creating database, and then we have to have a team of people who understand what's in each database. So you need to kind of remember the information and also how to filter out the information, and then connect the right people. So we do need the right people to do it at the moment. I think that's not very sustainable. I think I'd like something like a search engine kind of thing, if that's possible. But I don't want that to be high maintenance kind of thing, or like somebody has to keep constantly watching that database the whole time. I think that's not very sustainable. So I'll try to come up with some ideas, and I think I'd definitely love to have a group coming up with it. I think maybe I asked Anne before something that, like, oh, don't we have a database of that? And then I think that's something we've been trying to do for a little while. And then, yeah, so that's something I definitely think will be very helpful. And then obviously you can match people up online. So all related to digitals as well. And then at the Congress, or when you have to happen to have a travel opportunity, then you get to meet in person. But yeah, so I think that's it for me with all these 4 topics, and then I'll pass it on to whoever's available next.
I'll try to make it shorter than you, Otawa. Okay, UN engagement. Let's just say every club of BPW should talk about the UN and the sustainability development goals at least once this year. Should be fairly easy. Programs, yeah. Established program commission that talks about the relevant content and the key topic of 2020, 21, 22, 23, and align it to the international agenda. Fairly easy. Communication, I'm not a huge fan of the blog, and it's actually one of the reasons why you, Otto, has said, Instagram, for example, for me, that would be the media I go to when it comes to blogging and viewing most relevant content. But also, yeah, I mean, travel blogs have been hugely successful. I think we can look into this, but I would embed it into an overall communication strategy that BPW International should look at. I don't think every club has to define their own communication strategy. I do believe there should be an international framework, and it should start with BPW International. And in terms of business relevant content, yeah, I mean, what Tommy mentioned, right? Uh, of course, it's all about exploration and going into the cold water and trying out. And it's a safe environment. BPW is a learning environment. But let's equip our members also with the right tools. Let's establish workshops on a regular basis, how to pitch, how to prepare a business case, how to, you know, prepare for a very, you know, a board meeting, your first board meeting or executive committee. What does it mean? So let's create that within either normal programs or separate courses.
Thank you, Shira. And I think that having the opportunity to participate to UN conferences all over the world, in New York, in Austria, in Geneva, but also in Rome, since we have the FAO, and this is one of the perks of BPW International. And BPW International has a representation at UN, but in Europe, for example, has a representation within the Council of Europe. But and you can concretely contribute. BPW can concretely contribute to change things. But my personal opinion is that sometimes it's not very much advertised. This kind of activities. When I talk with other young BPW members, they really don't know exactly the work of BPW within the UN and within the other bodies. And last year, I had the opportunity to attend the CSW, and as Nelima said, I had a pass, one of the 20 passes that BPW has. And I think that for me, it was a really great opportunity because attending the official meetings, attend all the side events outside the UN offices, and having the possibility to meet the delegation of my country and meet people from all over the world has been really inspiring. And I think that BPW has to continue to do so, giving passes to young members, because in this way BPW can invest on a new generation of leaders trained in the best way, with reference to the programmatic topics and professional development. I would propose to record the young symposium all over the world, because maybe I couldn't have the possibility to travel to Asia Pacific to attend their symposium, and maybe a person of Latin America cannot attend the Young BPW Europe symposium. But if we can use the technology to record and to record this really important event for Young BPW, I think that that it would be useful for everybody. And just one thing to, with reference to professional development, I think that in BPW there are many courses and many trainings that are organized by BPW members. But it's also true that maybe we can create free professional development courses and trainings, because I think also that BPW is a service, and for us young BPW members, maybe we cannot spend a lot of money in travels or in these courses and trainings. So maybe also create a free courses online. And with reference to the international blog, I think that it is really important, and also because of the problem of advertising of the UN activities, having a platform where everybody can write what they are doing. The standing committee, the task forces, and everybody that has a role and in BPW can explain their work, and maybe I can be interested to be part of a task force or a standing committee that before that I didn't know. So I think that it could be a great tool to implement. And for networking, I think that our organization is networking is the key for an organization like ours, because it's the biggest one. It's in the world. But if I don't know the members and what members are doing, I cannot really connect with her, because I don't know her. And Young BPW France years ago promoted a project. I was in this. I was part in this project, and it was a platform, a sort of social network just dedicated to BPW, where you can register if you want, and you can add details, the details that you want to share, of course, and you can log in, and then you can see all the members, and all the members located in different areas. So I could connect with members from all over the world. Maybe if I happen to travel to Japan, for example, I could discover that Otoa was in Japan, and then I could contact her. I could contact her for organize a meeting, and then I could start to chat with her. And I think that it was a really good project. And I would maybe, I don't know, sometimes it ended, but I think that maybe we can think about something like that, because it was really nice, because it was really close. It was not so like Facebook or other social network, but it was just built for BPW.
Thank you so much. It was nice to hear so much about the UN engagement. The one thing that I have realized is, while attending a lot of UN events, panels, I realized that the number of women in the panels are missing. And that's the reason why we need to encourage more members to participate in different panels, different conferences, so that they can get the confidence, so that to have more members in the panels, women participants in the panels, I think that's how we invest now on the young members, so that later on in the future, they can be the panelists as well. So with this, I would like to thank you all for being a part of it. It was really wonderful to hear all your comments, suggestions, and your examples. And with this, we would like to, I'd like to comment on why the sustainability of BPW is important, because if we don't do that, while it's critical for our operation, it pales in the face of this issue, because at present we do not attract young members and have failed to do so for a generation, which constitutes of a dying organization. But because we have seen a lot of clubs that has, you know, ended because they didn't have a new generation to take over it. And also, we as a young BPW member must cease to be viewed as an ancillary program and be placed up front in the hopes of sustaining this organization, because you can't always say we have always done it this way. And young members also should learn our, you know, we should learn our ways and models without any reciprocation, because you know, that is why we, you know, the BPW has already, you know, ceased to grow. And one thing I would suggest is, you know, it's not about just seniors making a platform for young members, but even the young members making a platform for themselves as well. And for the sustainability of BPW, we all need to come together, not as a young or senior, but as a BPW member, because we are celebrating 90 years this year, and USA, they celebrated 100 years last year, you know, the National Federation. It has come a long way. And to make it even more, you know, up in the market for more members to benefit out of BPW, I believe we all need to work together. And thank you so much, everyone, for attending this, you know, webinar. And I would like to personally thank Dr. Ann and Dr. Yashmin for giving us this platform to highlight how, for us to understand how we need to realize that, you know, the sustainability of BPW is in the hands of young BPW. And for you to make young BPW a part of the family, we need to open different platforms to make us feel like we are a part of BPW. So with this, I would like to thank you all for having me here, and to everyone who attended this seminar. And thank you so much.
We really want to thank these 5 young BPW members for this incredible contribution in this presentation today on the topic of young BPW, not just as a supplemental program in our organization, but as shifting to the central focus of everything that we do in order for our own sustainability. So as you contemplate that idea and we all continue to discuss and implement this, we certainly want to extend a great thanks to Nilima from Nepal, who has been our young BPW representative at the international level for the past 2.5 years, almost 3 years now, doing a stellar job, and in this presentation guiding us through this concept. And to the 4 young women who hope to take her place in the next election. In this presentation, we had Benedetta from Italy, Tomi from Nigeria, Shira from both Singapore and Switzerland, and of course, Otoha from Japan. So we would be fortunate to have any one of them as our next young BPW international representative. Please give this concept some very close and careful attention, and let's continue to discuss. Thanks for attending and viewing this video, and we hope to see you again soon. Bye for now.